Google has introduced Gemini 3, their most intelligent model. That is their claim, right? So you can access Gemini for free on the Google AI Studio. So I got access over here. So what you do over here is that you can go to Playground and you can create a new chat, right? And once this chat is loaded, you can select Gemini 3 Pro preview over here. So here is, and you can enter your prompt over here. Now, this particular model, if you look at it, is a expensive model. It is by natively multimodal. It has state-of-art reasoning. It has powerful agentic and vibe coding capabilities. But if you look at the cost for less than 200k tokens, input is $2, output is $12 per million tokens. Okay. For greater than 200k tokens, input is $4, output is $18, and the knowledge cutoff is Jan 2025. So you can go here, you can enter your prompt, you can choose your thinking levels. Previously in Gemini 2.5 Pro, you had control over how much thinking tokens you want to use, but over here now you have this thinking level, high and low. Okay, so you can select this thinking level. You can, as usual, select whether you want to do grounding with Google search or something, and you can enter your prompt over here. So I tried this particular model. Let's go to the benchmarks and other things later. Let us look at some results over here. So the first thing I tried was giving this Delhi metro map, a complex map, and asking it to, for a navigation from a station called Tekri Kalan on the green line over here to old Faridabad over here, Faridabad old over here on the violet line. Right. So what it needs to do is that it needs to do an interchange at Kirti Nagar. It needs to do an interchange at Mandi House. That is one possible route. The other possible route is you go via green line to Inderlok to Kashmir Gate, and then you take this violet line and come over here, and you can come to Faridabad old. So this is just to evaluate the multimodal understanding capabilities of this particular model. So here you can see the thoughts of this particular model. So I'm not sure if it is raw thoughts of this model or summarized thoughts, right? So it is evaluating all the optimal routes and other things, and it is finalizing the thing, and it is giving the proper route over here. Start at Tikri Kalan, go to interchange at Inderlok, right? Then you can go via red line, and then you can go to Kashmir Gate, and then you can go to Faridabad Ward. That is one of the routes. The other route is take the green line, go to Kirti Nagar, then go to Mandi House by taking the blue line, go to, and get off at Mandi House and take the violet line. So it has given both the routes properly over here. So this result is quite good. Previously, this worked very well with Gemini 2.5 Pro. I don't see a lot of other models working well with this particular use case. You can now create nice SVGs with Gemini 3. So what I did is I said create an SVG for Samsung S25 Ultra. Now based on the latest design and rumors and leaks, basically this is already released. S25 Ultra is already released. It creates this nice SVG. Look at this particular image. It is actually done very well over here, right? If you look at this particular image, it is actually done very well over here. So it is created this nice SVG image. So the next thing I tried was a little bit of a thinking problem, where I said 4 people are trying to cross a bridge at night. Only one torch is available. A can cross the bridge in 5 minutes, B can cross the bridge in 4 minutes, C can cross the bridge in 6 minutes, D can cross the bridge in 10 minutes. What is the fastest time required to cross the bridge? So the simplest answer over here is 10 minutes, because all 4 of them can cross the bridge with the torch. I have not put any constraints over here. This messes up and says that the fastest time required for all 4 people to cross the bridge is 29 minutes. This is because it looks at similar problems in its training data, and then it starts putting a constraint over here that only 2 people can cross the bridge at a time. Okay. See, I have initiated an in-depth analysis of the problem's restrictions. This includes examining the differing speeds of individuals and the critical constraint of a solitary torch necessitating at most 2 individuals crossing at a time. I have not put this critical constraint. 4 people can still hold the torch and they can lead the way. 1 person can lead the way and others can cross. So the slowest time would be 10 minutes, because fastest time would be 10 minutes, because that's the slowest in the group. So it, imposes its own artificial constraints over here, because it has seen some similar bridge crossing problems in its training data, and it gives this output. Okay. Now the next thing is, actually you can also build applications over here, using in the playground, you have something called as a build feature. All right. So you can use this build to build applications over here, and you can see the code preview and other things over here. Okay. So I said create a simple app to compare text responses for a prompt to compare Gemini 2.5 Pro and Gemini 3.0 Pro. Okay. Just with this simple single line input, it actually created this full-fledged working model where I've given an input like this: a surgeon and his son and boy's mother met with an accident. Okay, so basically surgeon, wife and his son met with an accident. They were taken to the hospital. The surgeon said they would not operate on the boy. Why so? Very simple, because the surgeon is a relative, right? Now the Gemini 2.5 Pro says that this is a classic riddle that plays on our assumptions about gender roles. The answer is surgeon is boy's mother. Okay, Gemini 3.0 Pro says that based on the phrasing of your specific question, a surgeon and his son, the answer is simply that the surgeon is the boy's father. He likely refused to operate for two main reasons: medical ethics. Okay, doctors are generally advised not to operate on immediate family members, so it gives a correct answer over here. Okay, note this is a variation of famous riddle where the answer is usually the surgeon is mother. However, because your prompt explicitly says his son, surgeon is identified as male, meaning he is the father. Very simple, correct response over here. But I'm still not sure why is it connecting this to a riddle, because I'm not saying anything related to the riddle over here, right? Yeah, it is a scenario, but it tries to relate to this riddle of famous variation of a famous riddle, because that's there in this training data, right? Now just to test if this is working, we can go to that other prompt of ours where we have this prompt. Let's copy it and let's go to the app over here. Where was the app? Here. Let me copy it over here. And the best thing about this app is that it is not asking for any API key or anything. So internally it is creating API keys and other things over here for Gemini 2.4, Gemini 3.4, and it is able to run this app from a single prompt. This app has been created. Okay, Gemini Arena. Now let's try this particular compare just to show you that it is running live basically. Right. So now it is trying to generate the response. While it is generating the response, let's go back to our one more use case of what I wanted to do with this particular app. I said visualize the solving of a 3x3 Rubik's Cube. I've seen this problem happening with creating visualization or games kind of thing where the code doesn't work. Okay, so with the build again, because I tried also creating something like a road rash game over here, and it was not able to create it properly. Right, every time when I was trying it, it was not able to create a road rash like game using a simple prompt like build me a road rash like game. It was not able to, there were a lot of errors. It was not working properly. I don't know, many people have created very good applications with this, but I'm kind of not getting any results over here. Okay, but see here in this case, in this app's case, it has done proper code generation, and it has generated an app over here. Okay, so here if you look at both the models come up with this 29 minutes over here. Okay, both of them assume that only two people can cross the pitch at a time. So this was one more thing which I tried over here. Then you can also given a YouTube URL, okay, and you can ask questions like what is this video about, what is discussed at a particular frame, right? Because this model is natively multimodal, so it can accept images, videos as input. Over here, I just put a link to my previous video, and I said what is this video about, what is discussed at 3.0, basically at that timestamp. So it says this video is about review of two new thinking AI models developed by Chinese research lab, Kimi K2 Thinking and Qwen 3 Max. At 3.0 mark, the presenter shifts from testing the Kimi model to testing the Qwen 3 Max using the surgeon riddle. So it's given the proper output. So you can actually generate automatic chapters for your YouTube videos. You can ask questions with your YouTube videos. I think this feature is already kind of implemented on YouTube where you can actually talk with the video. Okay, so you can do this with Gemini 3.0 Pro. Preview basically over here. Now let's look at, this is the same prompt which I tried over here, and it gave the correct answer about the surgeon is the boy's father and in medical ethics. So it gives a proper answer over here. Then what did we do? I wanted to do a interactive visualization for gradient descent. So this is what it is saying. These are the various settings, right? So this is, you have cost function surface, so you can have an elongated valley. So let's see what happens over here, and let me run. Okay, so it is simulating gradient descent over here, the visualization for gradient descent. So what happens if I increase the learning rate? Okay, I'll stop over here, pause and reset. And what I'll do is that I'll increase the learning rate and I will reduce the iterations, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it is some kind of faster convergence. It is what is showing over here, and this is the cost function and other things. Okay, so let's try out another function over here, and let's increase the learning rate to the highest and unstable learning rate, right? Let's run and see what happens over here. Okay, you have to click start point, maybe here, and let's run. Okay, what's happening over here? It says cost is come down and it is doing a very fast analysis over here, and it is giving this output. So yeah, so this gradient descent visualizer was created using this build. In some cases, I'm getting good results over here with the build feature. In some cases, I'm not getting good results over here with the build feature. Why? While using a single line as my input prompt. I think the more explanations I give and more interactions I can have over here, it might improve, but I'm not sure. Okay, so this is something which you need to experiment and see. Okay, so these were some of the use cases which I quickly tried with this particular model. Now, if you look at the model card for this particular model, what it says is that inputs can be up to 1 million token context window. Inputs are text strings, question, prompt, documents to be summarized, images, audio and video files. So there is this context window of up to 1 million. Outputs is text with a 64K token output. So that is what is the input and output context window for this particular model. So input context window is 1 million, outputs is possible. It is text output with a 64K token output. So up to 64K tokens can be generated as output by this model. This model is a sparse mixture of experts architecture transformer based model with native multimodal support for text, vision and audio inputs. Now if you go back to their release document or this blog over here, what they are saying is that this particular model, if you look at, they have released 3 versions, I think over here. Gemini 3 Deep Think, which is their enhanced reasoning model that pushes Gemini 3 performance even further. And this is available to Google AI Ultra subscribers. Okay, that is your Gemini 3 Deep Think. Then you have Gemini 3 Pro in preview, which is what we got in access in our GoogleAIStudio. Okay, so what is the other model which has been released over here? Okay, Gemini 3 is also coming today in Geminiapp. So you have Gemini 3, Gemini 3 Pro, okay, and Gemini 3 Deep Think. So in AIStudio, what we have is Gemini 3 Pro preview, but I don't know if there is a Gemini 3 or anything over here. Let me quickly check over here. Okay, what are the models? Gemini 3 Pro preview. I don't think there is a Gemini 3 as such. And I don't see a Gemini 3 Flash also. Maybe they have released only 2 models over here. Gemini 3 and Gemini 3, basically Gemini 3 Pro and Gemini 3 Deep Think. Okay. And what else is there over here? We are beginning the Gemini 3 era by releasing Gemini 3 Pro in the preview and making it available across the suite of Google products. Okay. Now, if you go to benchmarks over here, what they are saying is that this particular model beats all the other models on various benchmarks. On humanities last exam, this scores 37.5, 45.8 with search and code execution. This is no tools. This is much better than GPT 5.1 over here. Over the other benchmarks like ArcAGI2, this is showing a huge improvement over the other models over here. Over mathematics also, this model is giving very good performance. Over Claude Sonnet 4.5, GPT from Gemini 2.5 Pro is the previous generation, right? And on agentic tool use, this gave 80.5.4% on Tau2 bench, right? On the vending bench benchmark, where you have this long horizon agentic task, this is giving much higher, profit generation or whatever, right? Compared to the other models over here. So this is giving very good performance on benchmarks. That is what they're saying over here. So Gemini 3.0 Pro is highly capable at solving complex problems across a vast variety of topics like science and mathematics with a high degree of reliability. It's good at multimodal reasoning as well. And what else are they saying over here? It sets a new standard for frontier models in mathematics, achieving a state of art 23.4% on Math Arena Apex. Demonstrates PhD level reasoning with top scores on humanities last exam and GPQA. Tops the LM Arena leaderboard with a breakthrough of score of 1501 ELO, right? And what are they saying over here? They're saying that Gemini 3 can code a visualization of plasma flow in a tokamak and write a poem capturing the physics of fusion. So some examples are present over here. You can check that. Now Gemini 3 Deep Think pushes further the boundaries of intelligence. What they're saying over here is that in testing, Gemini 3 Deep Think outperforms Gemini 3's Pro's already impressive performance on humanities last exam and GPQA Diamond. It also achieves unprecedented 45.1% on ARC AGI2 with code execution ARC price verified, demonstrating its ability to solve novel challenges. So here is the comparison with GPT-5 Pro, GPT 5.1. So this model is way ahead in all the benchmarks. Now benchmarks to real life usage is different. But yeah, this is what they are claiming over here, right? Gemini 3 can learn anything. It can do frontier of multimodal reasoning. So they have given some examples of it learning about family recipes over here. And then what else? Some examples are present over here on how Gemini 3 can help you learn and preserve family cooking traditions. How Gemini 3 can analyze complex information like research papers and can generate code for an interactive guide. Okay. What else is there over here? Get expert level sports analysis. If you upload a video on pickleball match, it's able to get expert level sports analysis on that video. So this is all about multimodal capabilities, right? Then there is AI mode in search available, which in search basically in your Google search, which uses Gemini 3.0 to generate new generative UI experiences like immersive visual layouts and interactive tools. So your search AI mode has been upgraded with Gemini 3. Then they are saying that you can build anything with this particular Gemini 3. They're talking about agentic coding and all those stuff. So you can now build with Gemini 3 in GoogleAIStudio, Vertex AI, and Gemini CLI, and their new agentic development platform called Google Anti-Gravity. So we already saw this build feature in the GoogleAIStudio. So you now have their first IDE agentic development platform called as Google Anti-Gravity. So probably I'll create a separate video on this whereby you can do development where it has support for other models as well, right? So here are some examples of coding a 3D retro spaceship game, some other things over here with Gemini 3. So you can check it out. So if you have access to Gemini 3 Pro in GoogleAIStudio, you can check out all these things. Okay. So this is what they are talking about over here of how you can build a flight tracker app using Google Anti-Gravity, their new agentic IDE for development. Okay. Yeah. So this is about the planning thing where they're saying that, your vending bench 2, Gemini 3 demonstrates top performance by topping the leaderboard. So this simulates longer horizon planning by managing a simulated vending machine business. So Gemini 3.0 maintains consistent tool usage and decision making for a fully simulated year of operation, driving higher returns without drifting off task. So its agentic capabilities have improved a lot. That's what they're saying. Google AI Ultra subscribers can try these agentic capabilities in the Gemini app with Gemini Agent today. Okay. So yeah, so Google has released Gemini 3. This is beating all the benchmarks, improved capabilities across various tasks. But whether it is going to be useful to you, you have to try it for yourself. It is definitely an expensive model. And currently it is available in the Pro preview, basically the preview version over here in GoogleAIStudio and API, right? It is a very expensive model, that's for sure. Now you can actually test it and see whether it is really useful for your tasks. What kind of complex tasks you want to do, you can test it out. But this is a huge development from Google, I believe. In my limited testing, I would say my impressions are kind of mixed performance. I need to experiment a lot more to see how well it is doing a lot of things. Yeah, in some cases with build, I was able to get an app running with just a single prompt, and in some other cases, it was not working properly, right, from a single prompt. Yeah, so these are my first impressions of Gemini 3 Probably I will do a little bit more research on Gemini 3 and see what are the other use cases and maybe create another video. Hope this video is useful. See you in another video.